had such staying power over the years?
Monopoly debuted in 1935, and there are hundreds of editions now, from Star Wars and Harry Potter to the city editions to editions for, we make corporate gifts for big companies, we'll do a Monopoly. It's the nostalgia. It brings us back to being a kid, and I think we feel that comfort, especially when the world gets a little crazy sometimes in our jobs and worrying about kids and mortgages. We can go back to this time for a couple hours sitting at a table and thinking about what it was like to be 9 again and buying Indiana Ave and New York Ave and what token do you want? You're fighting with your siblings over the top hat or the car or the ship. And I think that's what brings Monopoly the staying power for the last 85 years.
Are the tokens also part of the playing pieces? Are those also customizable for the city?
When you see Salt Lake City Monopoly Edition coming out next summer, the tokens will stay the same. We've learned that part of that nostalgia is playing as a kid is when you fought over what token you wanted. And so we want to keep some of that originality of the game, so the tokens will remain the same.
And then what was the process to select Salt Lake City, and what's the process just in general to select different cities for an official game?
So our team back in Rhode Island, we do about 20 editions a year. And our representatives like myself are scattered across the US. I'm based in Southern California, so I get to do the West Coast. So I come up with a list of cities that I believe would be a good fit, and then I go pitch those cities to Hasbro and as well as to my boss, demographics, population size, key retailers to make sure we can sell thousands of games to make sure they get on your table. And so Salt Lake City seemed like a natural fit. The beauty, the mountains, the board's gonna be gorgeous. It lends itself really well to making a beautiful game.
How many squares will be left for local businesses?
So with 22 property squares, just like in the original game, we theme each color set. So the 3 green could be parks and open spaces. Light blue could be museums or education. We featured tons of universities on past editions. With local business, there'll be different types of local business. So restaurants might be one section of those 3, maybe the red section. The yellow could be local business that is non-restaurant related. So maybe it's a jeweler, maybe it's, we've used, if there's a family plumbing company as a utility, so we really want to customize that. So it gets really hard because something great inevitably has to get left off just because of the size of the board. We wish we could make each little neighborhood edition, but that's not very feasible. And so those ideas are super important to send those to me to make sure we get the right things on there.
Why Salt Lake now? I mean, you've done other editions, different cities. Why now Salt Lake?
We chose Salt Lake right now to come out for next summer. One, we have some exciting things coming up in Salt Lake. We're gonna, in a few more years, we're gonna have the Olympics back again. So we want this game to be selling and in stores as folks come from all around the world to come to the Winter Olympics again. How cool is that in 2002? And now we're gonna see this again. It's very rare that a city gets 2 Olympics. One, we love the family atmosphere of Salt Lake City and Utah. We know families will sit around their tables and play these games together. And we have no doubt that we will sell thousands of them. And also it's a great support for local business. We want these games sold in your stores, in your bakeries, in your coffee shops, in your hardware store. There are certain big box stores that we don't want to sell our games in because we want money staying here in Salt Lake City to help your local business.
When you say Salt Lake City, is it going to be city specific or the region?
One of the biggest issues I have in every city is drawing that boundary. There might be a great local iconic business that's headquarters are just a few miles outside city limits, and it can create a lot of backlash with folks. It's like, no, this must be Salt Lake City proper. There can be a little gray area, but typically we want this to be Salt Lake. How's everyone doing?
Same rules, right? Rules haven't changed.
Yep, the gameplay will be exactly the same. It's just those spots will elicit that feeling when you land on, maybe you land on Crown Burger, maybe you land on the Jazz, maybe you land on now the new NHL team, maybe you land on the Capitol building. And so you'll have some memory of those places. Maybe you took photos on the steps as a kid during a field trip. And so that's why these games sell so well, is it brings in those feelings. But yet gameplay is similar. The fun part is those customized community chest and chance cards. So those little tidbits about the city that make it really unique that only you guys will know. So I don't know those things. Write in those little phrases. There's a city I recently did an edition for, and they have this big traffic circle, like a European roundabout, and everyone gets lost and takes the wrong exit. And so someone wrote in something about that, and so that was something that got printed, and it's going to be a funny thing because it's such a unique thing to that city. So those are the ideas that we're looking for when we ask you to send in your ideas.
And I'm sorry, did you say how to send in yet? If I missed that, I apologize. How can people send in?
Yes, please send in your ideas to saltlake@toptrumps.com. And we'll be having, the ideas, the email inbox will be open for the next couple months. So keep sending those in, and we'll go through all of those ideas.
Is there a deadline for submissions?
I believe our deadline is, what is it?
I believe it's December 26th. It's on the press release.
Yes, December 26th. So we have a few months to make sure everyone gets a chance to vote and give their opinion. Cool. And feel free to take all the photos. He can dance around. He could shake the sign. You can have fun with that.
Cross the street, walk around, dance around.
Awesome.
That is probably better.
Cool.
I saw that
Do a little more audio.
Park City edition.